Namaskara, welcome back to my channel. Today let's learn composition of functions. My first question is find f composition g of x where f of x is given as 3x and g of x is given as 4x. F composition g of x. Composition is symbol is a small circle, not a filled circle, not a filled dot. If filled dot is taken as multiplication, here just the circle, small open circle. F composition g of x can be written as f composition g of x. Here we can write it as f of g of x. Here f of x is called outer function. F of x is outer function. And g of x is inner function. G of x is inner function. F composition g of x means here g of x is inner function. You are sending g of x, that inner function, through f of x. You are sending g of x through f of x. You are sending inner function g of x through f of x. How to find that? Let's learn. First write f composition g of x as f of g of x. F of, what is g of x? G of x is nothing but 4x. Value of g of x is 4x. You have to just substitute g of x. Value of g of x is 4x. So this is f of 4x. That means you are sending this 4x. 4x is nothing but g of x. You are sending this 4x through f, function f. How? We know that f of x is 3x. We know that f of x is 3x. F composition g of x means you are sending this inner function g of x, which is 4x, through f of x. So you are in place of x, you have to substitute 4x. That means now in place of x, so f of x is 3x. Now in place of x, you have to replace 4x. So f composition g of x is nothing but f composition g of x is nothing but, now you have to replace in place of x 4x, which is equal to 12x. So f composition g of x is 12x. Here inner function is g of x and outer function is f of x. So you are sending value of g of x, which is 4x, through f of x. You are sending 4x through f of x. So in place of x, you have to put 4x in f of x. So this is nothing but f composition g of x. You can also find g composition f of x. In the same way, let's find g composition f of x. Here inner function is f of x and g of x is outer function. Let's rewrite g composition f of x as g of f of x. Here g composition f of x means Here you are sending value of f of x through g of x. Here our inner function is f of x, so you are sending value of f of x through g of x. What is value of f of x? F of x is 3x. Now you are sending 3x through g of x. We know that g of x is 4x. G of x is 4x. We know that. Now you have to send this 3x f of x through 4x, means in place of x you have to substitute 3x. Just replace x by 3x, 4 times 3x, which is equal to 12x. So in this function, both f composition g of x and g composition f of x is 12x. Need not be same always. We rarely get both g composition f of x and f equal to f composition g of x. My second question, find f composition g of x where f of x is 3x plus 5 and g of x is 2x. F composition g of x. So this can be written as f of g of x. Here inner function is g of x. Put the value of g of x. What is g of x here? 2x. Now we are sending this g of x 2x through f of x. So what is f of x? We know that f of x is 3x plus 5. So in place of x, you have to replace 2x. F of x is 3x plus 5. In place of x, you have to replace 2x. 3 times 2x plus 5. 6x plus 5 is the answer. Find g composition f of x. You can also find g composition f of x. G of f of x. Here inner function is f of x. So g of value of f of x is 3x plus 5. G of 3x plus 5. You are sending f of x through g of x here. So g of x, our g of x is nothing but 2x. So in place of x, you have to replace 3x plus 5. So our g of x is 2x. In place of x, you have to replace 3x plus 5. 2 times 3x plus 5. So which is nothing but 6x plus 10. 2 times 3x is 6x plus 2 times 5 is 10. G composition f of x is 6x plus 10. Now find f composition g of x for f of x is 3x and g of x is 5x. So f composition g of x is f of g of x. Inner function is g of x. So g of x value is 5x. F of 5x. You are sending 5x through f now. You know that f of x is 3x. You are sending 5x through 3x. Means in place of x, you have to replace 5x. In place of x, you have to replace 5x. Which is equal to 15x. Now find g composition f of x, which is nothing but g of f of x. Inner function is f of x. So our f of x is 3x. You are sending 3x through g now. You are sending 3x through g of x. Our g of x is nothing but 5x. So in place of x, you have to replace 3x. So that is nothing but 5 times in place of x, just replace 3x. This is also 15x. F composition g of x and g composition f of x need not be same always. Try this one. F composition g of x. Find f composition g of x where f of x is 3x plus 3 and g of x is 4x. Find both f composition g of x and g composition f of x. See you in the next video. Bye-bye.